So since today's Monday, that means we're going to talk about a myth, okay? And today I'm actually going to talk to you about two different ones. It's a combo approach, but these are myths that most women over 45 believe are a result of either being in perimenopause or into menopause. And those two myths surround the concept of weight gain and poor sleep being normal, when the truth is they're really just common. So just like I do with everything in my practice, when someone comes to me with a symptom, whether it's poor sleep or weight gain, and they're going through perimenopause or are in menopause, I actually look for the root cause of that. So while hormone changes, which is what perimenopause is, it's a transition into the change that happens in menopause when your body stops producing the same amount of hormones and you're unable to conceive. There's a transition that happens here, and those levels fluctuate, and those fluctuations can create symptoms, okay? Now, the truth is, these hormone fluctuations will affect your metabolism and affect your weight gain, and they will disrupt sleep, but the extent to which this happens is actually something you can control. It rolls back to root causes that are driven by things like poor blood sugar levels, stress, nutrient deficiencies, even lack of muscle on your body can contribute to how your body responds to this. So the myth here is that when these things happen, is that it's normal and you just have to deal with it. The truth is that you don't have to deal with it, and it's actually not as normal as you might think. There are plenty of people, myself included, going through that transition that don't have those types of symptoms. Like, I don't have hot flashes, I don't have night sweats, I don't have all the crazy different symptoms that you might hear about. I don't have trouble sleeping. I do have a problem with losing weight. That's something that I'm working on, but it's not necessarily directly related to the transition into menopause. It isn't. It has to do with other co-infections that I have. But this is where the root cause approach really comes in helpful for people that are just not sure what's going on with their body. Because once we can kind of see what's driving the symptom, we can actually be very proactive and help reduce the overall impact of that symptom. So during this perimenopause transition, your ovaries are, number one, producing less of the hormones overall, which is why you experience the symptoms. It's the change in the fluctuation. And even once you get into menopause, your ovaries stop producing them altogether. And that's why you're officially in menopause when that happens, okay? But that doesn't mean that your body still doesn't make the hormones. It makes a smaller amount, but it makes them somewhere else. So the torch is literally being passed from the ovaries to your adrenal glands during perimenopause. This means that you have to support your adrenal health, and you have to be really intentional about that. You see, our adrenals are directly involved with blood sugar balance and our stress response. So it's crucial that we manage those two elements and make those a priority in order to have healthy adrenals and therefore healthy hormone balance. So what are some things that you can do to maintain a healthy weight and to have better sleep? Well, that's going to be directly related to how well you are supporting your adrenal glands. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is to make sure that you're eating really well-balanced meals that have a focus on proteins and healthy fat, not so much carbs. But it's important to clarify here that carbs are not bad, okay? You should not remove them as a food group. It's which carbs are you choosing? You want to avoid those that are heavily processed, that are starchy, or that are full of either natural sugar or contain added sugar. So think about the difference between like a candy bar and like a sweet potato. Like, they're both carbohydrates, but one of them is going to affect your adrenals much more significantly, the candy bar, than say another one. So we want to make sure that we are looking to remove excess sugars and even alcohol from our life. That's going to help keep those adrenals stable and help you have a healthy weight and to be able to sleep better. Other things that you can do to support your adrenals, it would be to add magnesium or even adaptogens like ashwagandha or even reishi. I mean, I drink reishi coffee every single day, and it really does help kind of keep things more of an even keel. So adding in some extra nutrients to support your adrenals is always going to be very helpful. To help have a more healthy balance with your weight and to kind of maybe mitigate that weight gain that you've had, turn the ship around and maybe lose some of that weight, focusing on those proteins and healthy fats and non-starchy carbs is really gonna help with that, but also looking at what you do. Now, stress plays a role in this weight issue as well, so we don't want to minimize that, but thinking about our exercise is important. I'm a firm believer that weight gain is not necessarily caused exclusively by diet and exercise, as in you're eating too much and not exercising enough. There are many, many other factors at play here, but I also know that there are some places where you can improve your metabolism and support a healthier weight by changing your diet and your exercise. So we've already talked about the food part. Well, thinking about exercise, especially as we get older, we want to reduce that impact on our adrenals and have less cardio and more focus on heavy lifting. In terms of how to improve our sleep that might be being affected by these changes in hormone levels, there's really one free, simple, easy, and most effective tool that you can have, but it actually isn't about what you do at night. It's more about what you do when you wake up. That's going to set the stage for your whole day in terms of your energy levels, and it's also going to set the stage for how you sleep. It's very important, if you can and have the ability, is to get outside in the morning and get natural sunlight in your eyeballs. That is going to balance out your hormones for the day, regulate your circadian rhythm, and prepare your body for the night ahead and help you sleep better. It's as simple as just getting outside in natural light and going for a little walk. Like, I'm talking 15 minutes. There are also things that you can do in order to help prepare for a good night of sleep in the evening. And so while in the morning when you wake up and get that morning sunlight, that blue light that hits your eyes activates cortisol. Now, it activates a healthy amount of cortisol, which blue lights from synthetic devices like your computer or your phone, those are going to drive cortisol too high. Another factor that can drive cortisol too high in the morning is going to be coffee on an empty stomach. It's going to really push it past the level that it needs to be to have a healthy circadian rhythm throughout the day. At night, having a healthy sleep hygiene is going to help mitigate some of those hormone fluctuations and help you sleep better, simply because you're focusing on reducing that cortisol and increasing melatonin, which helps you sleep. And the best way to do that is to get off devices after sunset. If you have to be on them, wear blue light blocking lenses, because that blue light from those devices is what's going to keep that cortisol elevated and prevent you from getting sleep.